Hi there, back for another reflection. This week, Module 9. Um, First question is describe the role of assistive technologies in the classroom. Assistive technologies are any equipment or device that can be used by a person with a disability to perform specific skills, um, to facilitate learning, to build confidence, improve functional capabilities, and hopefully becoming more independent, more self-confidence, more independence, go hand in hand in learning and developing. Um, they can be used in the classroom to help students become more successful at tasks they otherwise couldn't do. So, in this era of inclusion, where we want everybody to be together, we can't go with the old premise of one size fits all. There's different abilities. Um, there's different, everybody's different. So, assistive technologies have been great to leveling the playing field, um, giving people equal opportunity per se, um, and like I said, it builds confidence and self-esteem. Um, they don't feel like they're outsiders anymore. They feel like they're participating, which is big socially. To feel like you're there, like you're involved. Um, what past experience have I had with some of these? Um, I've had some great past experiences with many different things. Working in the middle school setting, for 3 years, and now working elementary setting. I remember my middle school days. We had a girl named Kaya who was nonverbal, and she was in a wheelchair. She couldn't walk. So we had a few things that worked for her. One of them was a tablet that they specifically got that could help her basically speak for her. She could point to, what she wanted for lunch, or if she had to go to the restroom, or just basic yes and no questions on some of the things we had her do in class. When she would have her recognize certain things, tell us how she feels. Sometimes we could tell she wasn't feeling good. So the the technology through the tablet was just amazing. I mean, um, it made her express herself rather than what's going on here. Obviously her mom and her sister was more the caretaker. She knew her. She knew her tendencies. Well, when you get to a school setting and we get them, a few hours a day, and I mean, it takes time to develop that. Where the tablet really filled that gap and helped us understand kind of her needs, her tendencies based on her facial expressions. So that was a great assistive technology that we used for her. Another one for her was a stander that she was in. Um, we could get her up, it could lock her legs in, and it would get her movement. She could walk down the hallway. It had a little platform here she could kind of lean on, and then we could put like a tablet or an iPhone in front of her with some of her cartoons that gave her motivation. The stander had wheels, so it kind of, it would go, but it needed her to go with it, so it kind of pushed her a little bit. But just another great technology that she needed just to get the blood moving in her legs. Something like that could, the tablet can kind of get her mind going. This could kind of get her body going, and hopefully add years to her life by just getting some movement she otherwise couldn't do. So, some other ones that I ran across in PE, which are some ones we used in PE where the main general class was playing basketball, and some of our kids would come in, and obviously they had trouble dribbling, and shooting on 10-foot goal was pretty hard for them. So we would get a hula hoop, and the bleachers would be jammed up, and they had a little gap between the bleachers. We would put a hula hoop in there, and then just the part of it would be in there. The rest of it would stick out, so it simulated a big round basketball goal, and we could put that maybe 5-6 feet up, and then we get the kids a beach ball, a bigger ball that they could handle, that's lighter, that they could throw, and they would shoot baskets into the hoop, and it was just a great idea. You could see the confidence that the kids got by making some. The peers would come by and encourage them. So, the whole time they're doing this, the general class is behind them doing their stuff. So it just felt like they belonged. But once again, it gets back to the technology of leveling the playing field. Um, different abilities, and it worked out great. Where they were still shooting hoops. It was just through a little bigger goal and a little bigger ball, but they get the idea of it. They'd make a few. You can just see the confidence coming through them. So it was great. It was a great idea. I learned from a lady who gave us that idea, and it's something that I'll probably use down the road. But also bowling ball. We would set the bowling pins up, and we would use a big beach ball, get them a little bit closer. Lighter ball. They could throw it, bounce it, knock it off a wall, ricochet it. That was a great way to have them partake in bowling. Um, Once again, the regular kids are doing that, and here doing that. And the same thing is they're knocking down pins. They feel confident just by using a little bigger ball, a little lighter ball, and something that worked for them. So also some technologies were some pencil grips. Some kids have some issues holding pencils properly, which led to really sketchy handwriting at times. So we had some specific pencil grips for them to hold, which felt more comfortable for them, and then it facilitated them writing better. So it was a two-part process. It gave them a comfort zone, but it also, as they're interpreting information for the ones that we had to do some writing, it made their handwriting better. So it improved that. So that was another great thing that we used. Another boy we had named Dominic, he had some eyesight issues, so we would all make larger print things for him to see. We'd have a specific keyboard that had bigger buttons on it so he could obviously see him better. Not so many keyboards. It was an amazing keyboard, but it didn't have so many options. So it was specific for him, bigger so he could see obviously, but not so many choices that he didn't need. So it really facilitated him on the computer and stuff like that. But that was some of the things. Some of the other things, if we do some cooking classes, we'd have some spoons with larger handles. I remember some desks that would tilt at lunch if they needed to eat. Some needed to have the food here. It was better than having a flat table. They could be more accessible with the tilted table, just because of the reach and stuff like that. So it's just great how these technologies have leveled the playing field. Like I said, this ain't no one size fit all. And times have changed since I was a kid, where inclusion is the key here, where everybody, we're adapting to the inclusion part, where everybody can be there rather than, push those kids aside or, just go away. You're not like us. That's changed so much, and it's just good to see that change. Because and to be an educator on that side of it, it's just exciting to see these kids who have different abilities, and for them to still be able to do this in their own way, the confidence they get from it, it's really rewarding. One last question here. Find one additional assistive technology listed in the modules. Videotape social skills. Kids could sit down and watch videotape social skills. They could see how people act, and then we would have them tape themselves, and they would kind of role play how they would react, see themselves, make their own, and then see themselves. How they see themselves looking at themselves. Obviously. So that was a good deal. So that was a good technology we used. And that's all I got for this week. Thank you.